Hey guys, this is Miss Arlequin, and tonight I'm going to talk a little more about your nightly independent reading, your reading response questions, which will sometimes be a homework assignment, how to set up your reading log using Google Drive, and the requirements for book reports. Alright, so when we started independent reading last week, we received Lexile levels. And we talked a little bit about choosing books that are around your Lexile level. So I just wanted to once again show you the classroom library leveling chart and remind you that any book that has a yellow sticker is an easier book, which is for Lexile reading levels between 450 and 790. The green are for 770 to 980. Some of the green and all of the blue are the books that you really should be reading. They're the 6th to 8th grade level books, and those are for the Lexile levels of 955 to 1155. And then finally, books that have a red label are 9th and 10th grade level, and they're for Lexile levels 1080 to 1305. So really, for your class, you're going to want to focus on the blue label books. And again, anything that has a pink label is one of Miss Arlequin's favorites. So if you're ever looking for a book recommendation, you can't go wrong choosing one of those pink books. Alright, so daily independent reading is a part of our class. Every night you need to read for a minimum of 45 minutes to about an hour. Keep in mind that some nights you might read a little less, some nights you might read a little bit more. Of course, there are things that happen. You might have a special event that you're going to with your family and you don't have as much time to spend on homework. You just want to make sure that you balance it, so any night where you don't read that much, you try to make up for it the next night or the night after, so that you have approximately 5 hours of reading from the entire week. Over the weekend, you should be reading. You only need to read at least once over the weekend, because of course you want to relax and have some fun. Every night, you're going to use your reading log. And we're going to keep our reading logs on Google Drive. So part of what I'm going to show you in the next video in the series is how to take the reading log, which I'm going to share with you in Edmodo, and how to upload it into Google Drive. And once you have it in Google Drive, you're going to share it with me. That means that every night you will be logging into Google Drive and you will be updating your reading log. So reading logs, because they're going to be kept digitally, never have to be printed. And then finally, I'm going to be showing you your reading responses. Now, you do not do a reading response every night. You only have to do a reading response, which I refer to by the nickname RRQ. You only have to complete that when it's actually assigned for that night's homework. So there'll be lots of nights where your homework will be to watch a video, like the one you're watching now. Or when we get into our Codex workbooks, your homework will be something related to the class text that we're reading. And so on nights like that, you are not going to be responsible for a reading response question because that would just be too much homework. And I want you to keep in mind that in case of an emergency, ICOE, you can complete assignments on loose leaf paper, and emergencies constitute internet going down or being away from a computer, but those do require a note from your parent letting me know what the situation was. In general, when an assignment is given to you and it needs to be posted on Edmodo or in Google Drive, that's where I expect to find it. And anything that is posted incorrectly is not going to receive credit until it is posted in the correct place. So reading responses are to be a minimum of 100 words, and they need to include the title, author, and pages that you read. They need to include a summary of what happened in those pages read. And then finally, you're going to choose one of the response questions from the list that you have received, and you're going to answer the question. So on your reading response handout that you're receiving in class, you're going to see that A and B are part of the first paragraph of your reading response, and C is part of the second paragraph. Now, reading responses should be posted on Edmodo, which basically means when you log into Edmodo, you're going to look for the assignment that says RRQ and the number. And so the number is just what number reading response we're up to. So the first reading response will be RRQ1. The second time you get a reading response assigned for homework, that's the second one. So by the end of the year, it'll all add up, and you'll be able to look at the number and you'll know how many reading responses we did in total. So on Edmodo, you would be in your news feed, or possibly, depending on what you prefer, you might go specifically to the ELA page to see your assignments. And you can also go to your notifications, which is right here. And when you click on your notifications, new assignments that have been assigned to you by a teacher will appear. And you can always organize and keep track of your assignments that way. Once you find the assignment, you'll see that you have the title of the assignment and you have a description of the assignment. And then sometimes there's going to be a file that I've attached to the assignment, or a link, kind of like the link to the video that you're watching right now. For this reading response, I'm always going to attach a copy of the reading response requirements and questions, and this is the same paper that you're receiving in class. That way, if you ever lose, or for example, maybe you leave the questions in your binder in your cubby, you will always know what the questions are and what the format is. If you lose it, you can also print it clearly if you need to. So you're going to want to press the Turn In button. And when you press the Turn In button, it's going to take you to an assignment page where once again at the top you're going to see the actual name of the assignment. You're going to see here the description of the assignment, and once again any files or links. Underneath it you're going to see your name. That's me, Harry Potter. If you haven't turned it in, it'll say not turned in. And then you have this box here, which is where you're actually going to type your reading response. Now, in my experience, sometimes when you're typing something into a response box online, crazy things can happen, like zombies can come and chew on your internet cables and your internet goes down. So by the time you're done typing and you press the Turn In button or the Submit or the Post button, your web page will load and it'll take you to some crazy page that says, sorry, this page cannot be loaded at this time. And when that happens, 99% of the time, everything you typed gets deleted. That's happened to me, and so I learned from my mistakes, and I want to share this tip with you, that you might want to consider typing your response first in Microsoft Word or in Google Drive, and then pasting it in the turn-in box. Because that way, if your internet does go down or the web page messes up, you don't have to redo the 100 words that you typed. All you have to do is paste it. And if your internet doesn't end up being fixed before you come to school the next day, you can just print what you typed up and bring in a printed copy. So this is a really important tip that you want to consider making a part of your internet posting routine. Alright, so then next, once I've typed my response in the box, as always, I'm going to have to put a rating to the assignment. And once I have my rating, I can press the Turn In button, and then my assignment has been submitted. Once your assignment is submitted, then here, it should start to say waiting for a grade. And then you can always check your grades. When a new grade comes in, I know you'll get a notification here. And right up here is your progress bar. And if you ever wanted to see your grades for any of your classes, you just have to click on that. Okay, I'm done talking, but I'm not done writing the word progress. There we go. Alright, so now let's talk about book reports. Book reports are only completed after you have finished reading a book. It's always in your best interest to complete a book report as soon as you're done reading the book. The longer you wait, the more likely you're going to forget important story information, and it just makes working on the book report that much harder. And you want to follow the format of the book report guidelines handout, which you're receiving in class. Copies of those handouts are going to be in the independent reading folder in Edmodo, and there will also be an independent reading folder on Google Drive. So at any point, if you misplace the printed copy that I give you, you always know what goes into a book report. How do you submit book reports? This is the preferred method. Type and share with me in Google Drive. That way you do not have to print it. You don't have to waste ink, which is better for the environment and better for your parents' pockets. They can save some money. And it's easier for me to grade. However, if you ever have internet problems or for just whatever reason you just want to, kill some trees and waste some ink, you can type and print it. That's my second preferred method. And my least favorite method is handwriting them on loose leaf paper and then handing them in. I will accept it. It's up to you. I mean, I know sometimes students just really like to practice their handwriting. So if you really want to do it, you can submit them that way. If you read any books over the summer, please complete book reports as soon as possible for those. Those will count for your 25 books for the year. You want to try to complete about 2 book reports a month. Alright, so now I'm going to end this video, and I'd like you to watch part 2, which is going to show you how to download your reading log and then how to upload it into Google Drive and share it with me.